Hey guys, so welcome back to the Comic Cosmos. Today we're going to be discussing how powerful is General Grievous, using expanded universe legends and canon material, as long as they don't contradict, to determine the full power of the ultimate Jedi killer. So for this analysis, that means we're going to be going through Star Wars movies, TV shows, including the 2D and 3D animated Clone Wars, as well as novels, comics, encyclopedias, and statements to get the most accurate representation of his full power. Grievous was a Kaleesh warlord whose race was in war with the insectoid species known as the Huck. The Republic had sided with the Huck, which began Grievous's hate for the Jedi. Count Dooku and Darth Sidious decided to manipulate him in order to get his strategic mind on their side of the war. They did this by planting a bomb in Grievous's shuttle, almost killing him and blaming it on the Jedi. Grievous was later rebuilt with the best cybernetics available to become the ultimate Jedi killer for the Separatists. So for this analysis, I'm going to be going through the following sections: strength, speed, durability, and then abilities, skills, and equipment. So let's get into it. So Grievous was a beast in terms of strength. It wasn't his biggest advantage, but it was definitely significant. So he was able to throw fully armored clones, Mandalorians, and Jedi like they were absolutely nothing, and it's estimated that his maximum lifting weight is probably at least 80 tons. He's been able to crush skulls with zero effort, punch through heads and clone trooper armor. He's been able to tear steel elevator doors, pierce durasteel with his claws, and durasteel is blaster resistant, as well as snap frick staffs. Now, frick is one of the most durable metals in all of Star Wars, and these staffs have been confirmed to be lightsaber resistant. So for Grievous to shatter them with his lightsabers puts him at least above any Jedi. He's been able to create craters on impact, and once fully crushed the Jedi Shar-Ji. He has resisted full-powered blasts from an Ithorian's throat, and this blast sends super battle droids flying as well as tearing metal off the roof of the building, as well as destroying a wall, which, judging by the height and width of the pile of concrete on top of Grievous, must have weighed at least 7.5 tons, and he broke out of that like it was nothing. So now we're going to talk about his speed. Now this was probably Grievous's biggest advantage over other beings in Star Wars. So he's been able to block blasters, and for reference, Star Wars blasters move slower than light because they're not made of pure energy. Blaster bolts are made of plasma, which is made of matter, so it's not energy. However, in Star Wars, they do use lasers quite often, and lasers do travel at the speed of light, and Grievous has been able to block those. He's evaded missiles and multiple blaster shots and laser blasts. He once blocked a flurry of blasters with his bare hands. This would have given him milliseconds to block each one. And he once blitzed 30 clone troopers, and throughout the whole time, they only had time to fire one single shot. He's been able to move faster than the eye can see, and it's been stated that when he's going full out, he's completely invisible to a human. This must have meant that his movements must have taken less than a 220th of a second. That's 0.0045 seconds. When Grievous spins his blades, they've been compared to pulsing spheres of energy and have been completely impenetrable. Now, Grievous has also been stated to be faster than any Jedi. In fact, it's been stated that no Jedi is remotely as fast as Grievous. Now, I won't say that no Jedi could beat him, because there are Jedis in the expanded universe who Grievous has never fought who are extremely fast, but he's definitely faster than any of the ones that he's fought. And he's fought Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, and multiple other Jedis at the same time. And just for reference, Jedis have been stated to have light speed reactions, because it's been stated that when they're in starfighters, their reaction speed has to be at light speed. So that puts his reaction speed at least light speed, and I'd probably classify him as multiple times faster than light. In terms of travel speed, he once traveled alongside an elevator effortlessly, and judging by the people inside the elevator and the height of the elevator and the distance that it traveled in the time that it took, that elevator was traveling at least 50 meters per second. And this was not its limit, because Grievous was only trying to keep up with it, not pass it. So I'd put his travel speed at least 150 meters per second. And it's also worth noting that he's a robot, so that means that all his limbs can move at the same speed. Grievous's body is made out of ceramic armorplast and uranium and can survive in the vacuum of space. He's been thrown through statues that completely obliterated them, and that equals roughly 15,000 tons of pressure, or 0.15 megapascals. His armor is completely lightsaber resistant except at the joints, and it's completely resistant to electricity because he's stated that Magna Guards cannot damage him. He survived rocket blasts that could equal the effect of an RPG, and survived getting a fuel tank thrown at him. It's been stated that his armor can also hold up to starfighter laser fire, which would destroy rocks and buildings easily. Most impressively, however, he once survived an explosion that destroyed multiple buildings and was said to devastate an entire underground city. In terms of skills, Grievous has a microcomputer chip implanted in his brain which gives him in-fight analysis, and he was once battling Mace Windu and was able to analyze that Mace Windu was using the form of a pod and react accordingly. He was trained by Count Dooku, who was one of the most skilled duelists in all of the Jedi Order, and when Count Dooku is said to rival Mace Windu in terms of dueling ability. It was even stated that Count Dooku didn't teach Grievous everything because he feared Grievous's potential. Grievous can spin his blades to disorientate and psychologically overwhelm his opponents. Now, a lot of people think he does that just for effect, but it's been proven that he fears the Force so much that he uses this as a psychological advantage. He's also skilled even without lightsabers, as in the Battle of Geonosis, he was running around in the catacombs killing entire companies of clone troopers and Jedis to gain his lightsabers. And just for reference, a company of clones consists of 144 men, so he killed hundreds of clone troopers. It's also been stated that he's killed over 100 Jedi in his life, and it's said that he's the most efficient killer of Jedi hand to hand. He's also a master strategist, as he was even valuable to Count Dooku and Emperor Palpatine when they saw his tactics that he employed in the battle with the Hux. In terms of cybernetics, it was stated by San Hill, one of the people who funded him, that he could surpass any Jedi potentially. He has cybernetically enhanced vision, which allows him to have superior sight and tracking, which allows him to track people going faster than light and analyze their movements. His clawed feet are magnetized, allowing him to walk up walls and giving him pretty insane agility. He also has charged wires in his arms that he uses for electrically shocking enemies. He doesn't do that very often, but he's got that. He also has anti-gravity repulsors in his feet claws, which he can do to jump, giving him the effect that he's almost flying. Yeah, so no doubt you'll agree that he's a beast when you analyze all the content that there is. So I'm going to be matching him up in a versus battle soon, so DM us at the Comic Cosmos on Instagram if you have any suggestions for who Grievous should battle, or just comment down below if you think you know who he should battle. And I'm also going to be doing another analysis soon, so yeah, comment which character you think we should analyze next. Until next time, cheers.